All right. Miggity Mike, chiggity check. Here we go. So, Email Anthrax has insisted by calling me out, calling me a pussy, that I gotta watch more of this thing. I will watch it, but I'm gonna pause it frequently to respond to this bullshit. In other words, no. There's no humility here. There's no having learned anything, right? Not a goddamn thing. I can tell right off the bat. No. The answer is no. He hasn't learned a goddamn thing.
In a relationship with a girlfriend, undirect, okay, on Instagram, that the type police came at me. So I made some notes, and I have some stuff here in comments, so I can't really read that well. So I'm going to go over this. So sit back, because this is okay. So this is going to be a good one. All right. So what I did is I watched the video, and I basically took notes. Okay. So it's kind of like the one-off, turn the camera on and go. Okay. All right. So we'll get to all this in a second. Okay. All right. So the INFJ and the I don't know video. Okay. So type police watch that video. All right. Now. Here's a question that I always ask when anybody comes in me with hate and all this, and we'll get to it in a minute. Okay, so, okay. Did you watch 250 videos? Did you look at my playlist and look at everything I've said on mental health, narcissism, confessions of a father?
Nope. Certainly did not. And I will tell you something. Normally, if I'm actually going to type somebody legitimately, I will actually have an hour-long conversation with them, ask them questions, test things that can be tested as skills. For example, if I were to type you, I would ask you a bunch of TI questions and determine whether you are... That's the first thing I do, determine whether you're an ENFP. If I ask you a bunch of TI questions and you're terrible at it, then I can basically just conclude right there, okay, you're definitely an ENFP, because when you can nail one part down, using introverted thinking, it allows you to eliminate other possibilities. So, no, I definitely didn't watch 250 of your videos. I watched parts of 2 of your videos. I watched most of one of them and part of another one. You don't need to spend a whole lot of time watching my videos to discover how I am. I'm quite the same personality in all of my videos, as are you. Telling me, learning more information about what your thoughts on this or that or the other thing are, is not how I'm typing you. Because you are not an INFJ because of the positions you hold. You are not an INFJ because of how you would pay attention. That's what a cognitive function is a manner of paying attention. You are not paying attention by introverted intuition. And we can conclude this very easily from a number of different cues that combined create a determination on the matter that eliminates things exclusive from that determinancy. This is introverted thinking. Now you'll note in a second as he proceeds, instead he's asked to provide introverted thinking in my video where I say you need to provide good justifications for things. What does he do the first thing off the bat? He writes introverted sensing, which is not confirmation for sure that he's an ENFP. I have to type him to be able to say for sure he's an ENFP. That doesn't mean I have to type him to be able to say for sure he's not an INFJ.
There's 250 videos. So your video, type police, was on, I don't know. I just want to clarify. I don't know, and an INFJ is never going to say that, is basically coming from a bird's eye view. I do not represent all INFJs, okay? I represent Marty Glenn, and my experience is this. As it relates to 99% of the time with my friends and acquaintances, I know the answer. Whether it's right for them, I don't know.
But Marty,
is that quick enough for you?
Okay, Marty, what you just said is, in your experience, you know the answer for things. I don't doubt that you know the answer for things. I'm not saying you don't know the answer for things. I'm saying you're not an INFJ. And the reason you're not an INFJ has nothing to do with what you're saying. Your personal experience of your interactions with people around you is not relevant to whether you're an INFJ until after we've determined that. So in other words, you might say, well, I'm an INFJ and I act like this. And then that might be, in fact, evidence in some regard of something. But that's the point in dispute here, whether you're an INFJ. So you're saying, well, look, I know how I act, obviously. You think you know how I act more than I know how I act? No. I think we both know how you act. You know how you act in terms of your affect and your internal. I know how you act in terms of your affect. You've misidentified those things as indicating INFJ. That's not how you type. That's not how you attain a type. You determine somebody's type by seeing how they're paying attention. Somebody like me and like you is going to put a lot of words out to say a little amount of stuff. Somebody who's an NINOM is going to say a little amount of words to say a lot of stuff. Which category are you in? Same category as me. So that's why you're not an INFJ. Not because of your positions. Marty.
But is it? Yes, it is. So when I get like an Instagram text I got today, there's a young man who's in a relationship with a girlfriend and she takes street drugs. I said, get the fuck away from her as fast as you can. Because, well, I've seen a girl do sexual acts for drugs. Not with me on me, but I've seen it before. That's someone's daughter, that's someone's girlfriend, that's someone's wife, sister. You get what I'm saying? Why does this young individual...
That's I again.
The train wreck is coming. He's going to get cheated on because she desires the street drugs, right? So what am I supposed to say? Keep it quick? Get away from her. No, I got to go into detail. I got to give him some information. And I'm right.
Look, it's okay. Look, hear that? He's right. Okay. Did you hear what he said? Did you hear what he said? That, listen, I've seen a girl one time do sex acts for street drugs. So, if your girlfriend does street drugs, she's gonna cheat on you. What? Okay, if that's not TI polar, I don't know what the hell is. Wow.
Someone can say, I don't know what to do, when I do. It's a bird's eye view, but you're putting a label on it and it's like, as a matter of fact, Marty Glenn says INFJs don't say, I don't know. Are you really that narrow-minded? Are you?
Marty, your exact words were, this will never come out of an INFJ's mouth. What? I mean, come the fuck on, dude. You can't be that oppositional to common sense and the truth.
Really that box into your thinking?
Let's
continue. All right. Okay, tone. Have you forgot anything about nurture? Have you? Because from the age of 7 until basically 14, 15, I got yelled at every day. So it was either stand up for what I believe and who I am or get completely annihilated. I chose to stand up for who I am. Plain and simple. That's a learned behavior. So my tone and my passion, okay.
Now, so what did I actually say about his tone? I said I think he's trying to get by on tone here. In other words, I think he's trying to get by on sounding confident rather than actually knowing his shit. That's what I said. I'm watching it bit by bit. I can't stop and I have to respond to this bullshit. But yeah, there's the trauma. And Marty, I am very sorry that happened to you. Truly, I am. It's terrible that people get abused as children, or at any point in their lives. It's fucking terrible. But it's not that he doesn't want to be an ENFP. Maybe it's that when he read about cognitive function or types or whatever, he doesn't seem to know much about cognitive function. When he read about types, he liked the way he used his tool function. His tool function is FI. Well, which one would I like to be most based on which one seems most shiny to me? And he chose INFJ. Look, I do not want to say at any point that ENFPs are dumb, but they're gonna come across like that when they're not in an area of analysis that they can do a good job in. You know, I mean, the thing is, I don't mean to be disingenuous about my own arguments. I argued two different things in that video. One, that in general he didn't know what he was talking about, and two, that he's not an INFJ. Now, the he didn't know what he's talking about part was a little unfair on my part, because what he's saying about knowing ultimately is, in fact, a correlate with INFJs. They do tend to know the answer. That's true. And so, it's fair to critique me as being a little unnecessarily harsh on what he knows, and really warranting that mostly with the fact that he's so badly mistyped himself, right? There were a couple of things about INFJs that he said that I thought, that's just silly or nonsense. But there were other things he said that I thought I agree with. I think that is accurate about INFJs. It's just, he's not that. He will see his own knowledge as being knowledge, but it's really just like, he's an NE Dom. So what do NE Doms do? Well, they put information. We put information. And so, of course, if somebody asks you a question, you put information out there. Yeah, I know the answer. Ask me anything, I largely know the answers. I'll say I know what it is. If you ask me certain things I really genuinely don't know, I'll always say I don't know. So, he may conclude that he knows things, but in reality, he's making statements. He's making affirmations. That's not the same thing as knowing things. Knowing things is not a talking function.
So I'm going to read, they took notes, guys. So definitely not INFJ. Definitely not. Then you say, no way in hell I am INFJ. Okay. Then you say, never met an INFJ to get to, video. Okay, so COVID. Okay. So you say, I've never met an INFJ who takes 7.5 minutes to get to the topic. Okay, let me make an example for you why I take so goddamn fucking long. Okay, what is the reason for COVID-19? The reason for COVID-19 is because the banks needed another bailout. The central banks of the world worked together, and they knew that the United States government and US dollar could not have another US citizen banking crisis. So the central banks in China, because there's a war and it was a believable situation, grouped together and said, we need X number of trillions of dollars to enter the banking system. So the United States pumped $4 trillion into the US economy. How are they going to do that? Because they already knew how much money the banking system needed before it would implode on itself under fiat currency theory. They knew. So they said, we have to annihilate the US economy, shut it down. How do we do that? COVID-19. So COVID-19 is a result of banking failure, fiat currency banking failure. Why was Donald Trump president and not Hillary Clinton? Because they knew this day was coming, or this year was coming. Also, the powers that be know about Hillary Clinton's past and the Clinton family name political past, and they didn't like it. And for that reason, Trump is our new president, or became our president in 2016. Is that quick enough for you? Do you even understand the gravity of what I just said? The foundation, the knowledge, the wisdom, even a word I can use? What am I going to do? What's the reason? What's the reason for COVID-19? And say that without, oh my dear God. I've been studying banking and central banking theory for 20 plus years. And what I just said is a fact. I know it is. But if you choose to believe it, that's okay. Don't believe me. I don't care whether you do or not. I think the central banks of the world are not going to give up money creation. They're never going to give it up. And the powers and the families that be that make these decisions, I've done videos on it. I applaud them. Are you kidding me? They have done an incredible.
Let me just pause here momentarily to afford Marty a resource so he can learn something about something. He obviously has no idea what wealth is. He needs to see my explanation of wealth. So I'll copy and paste it out of the platform. Of course, he won't be able to understand any of it. But hopefully he will be able to understand that he can't understand it, which might help him to see what I'm talking about. Like, he's got no business talking about any of this shit. Oh my god. So, look, let me explain. This covers a lot of the kind of bad thinking that's behind your frame of reference, which you might call the distribution illusion. And the watchmaker's fallacy is a phenomenon that emerges from the capacity of language to remove the observer from any expression of meaning. B, obviously no instance of language is produced in a vacuum, etc. So it's like, it explains the whole thing in full. It makes the full logical case, so that you won't have any reason anymore to be wrong. Unlike you, well, just like you, I don't care whether you agree with, whether you believe me or not, okay? But I do care whether your experience with your bad argumentation is pleasant or unpleasant. And I don't want it to be pleasant. And the reason is because you're talking about public policy sort of matters now. And you have no business ever speaking about public policy matters because you don't know how to think properly. So now you're actually offending me. Okay? That's not the way complex multivariate systems work. Your reduction of everything to causality is an absolutely moronic failure to think, and addressing that moronic failure to think towards matters of public policy. Please, sir, you are not qualified to make advocacies about public policy. Clearly. So I will share this link here. I will share it, and I will share it on your video as well, so that you get a chance to learn something before you start spouting out. It's ridiculous. You don't know anything, for Christ's sakes. Talk about Dunning-Kruger. Yeah. So frustrating, you know? It's like, Jesus Christ. Not for children. Yeah, politics are not for children. And you, when it comes to thinking about that sort of stuff, are a child. Read this explanation of wealth and economics that I wrote specifically to educate people who predicate their arguments on the fallacious assumptions that underlie what you say. Yeah. I just put people like you who predicate their arguments on certain common fallacious assumptions. Okay, but most importantly, this economic stuff is just to help you. But the most significant thing here is the sort of conspiracy that you're talking about, or first of all, nobody could possibly have predicted this approach to the COVID thing, because this approach harms everybody, and there's no way they get everybody on board unless they actually attain mass hysteria. You can't predict it. Yeah, T.I. Polar is one of the easiest spots to spot. I agree, and he is very clearly T.I. Polar. This guy has to be an ENFP. Marty sees INFJ as an attitude, not a concrete objective thing. Right. And that's, it's like, that's why he's no business talking about cognitive functions or type. He doesn't understand anything, for Christ's sakes.
Incredible job. I mean, it's beyond genius how they were able to bring this together and do it. You want me to ramble on? I can keep rambling on. All right, 7.5 minutes. Okay, so I'm ENFP, INFP. He doesn't know. He doesn't know which one I am. Okay, it's very significant that everybody understands that I'm an expert and you need to listen to me. And I'm like, what? I don't give a shit. Don't watch me. Do you know how many people have come in with hate? And I tell them, don't fucking watch me. My channel is not monetized. I don't give a shit whether you watch me or not. The channel was originally done for me, and then it transferred into MBTI, and then I started to listen to my viewers and started to see MBTI and mental health, and I saw the foundation of what it could actually do and bring, and I wanted to put it together because I had thoughts and feelings inside of me that I thought would work. It's just as simple as that. I don't give a shit. Don't watch me. Okay, okay. But
I don't watch you, Marty. I type police you.
I have a solid self-esteem. And if you watch my videos on narcissism, borderline bipolar, sociopath, psychopath, and all mental health cluster Bs, narcissism is equal to healthy ego and healthy self-esteem. Simple. Narcissism is an absolutely positive word in my book. Okay, so you attack narcissism, whatever. Okay, so then you go, okay, so am I an ENFJ? I don't know. Okay, friendly. Oh my dear God, you don't think I'm friendly? You don't think I'm friendly? I have two friends. Basically, everyone else is an acquaintance. First one is Scott. Second one is Todd. I'm 50. I've known them both since I was 23 and 24. A couple of other acquaintances I've known since I was 15. I don't really talk to them that much. I have two friends. Am I friendly? I am beyond friendly. I just choose to be alone. Just the way it goes. Condescending. Okay. Yeah. All right. I think the better word that you're looking for is actually delivery. My delivery is horrible. I mean, it is such shit. It comes across as condescending. And what that basically is just get out of the way and let me do it. You're gonna fuck it up.
All right, well, that's what I meant by my critique on tone, which you dismissed as completely insane, right? I talked about your tone. You said it was insane to me to talk about that because you had gotten yelled at as a kid, and now here you are acknowledging that your tone's a problem. And then getting mad at me and telling you to stay out of your way because you're just going to make it worse for you or something? I mean, huh? Look, when I make Type Police videos, it's because really they're my most popular videos. People like to watch them. The reason I took a long break from making Type Police videos is because of responses like this. You know, you've obviously got a lot of your identity invested in this whole INFJ thing, and so, you know, and you've got FI as a tool function, which means you use an interested calculus, a subjective calculus, a goal-oriented calculus, for example, to determine whether you're correct or not. But that just means knowing that you want to. He's being facetious? Who's being facetious? Me, I'm condescending sometimes. I'm absolutely. I can be an expert at being condescending. I just don't think, as a general rule, my tone is condescending. When I get upset, I typically move into condescension as one of my weapons, so to speak.
And just and so yeah, you are right. Condescending, that comes from a basis of my childhood and just a manifestation of being called stupid kid. Basically, that's what that is.
Again, I'm really sorry that happened to you.
My condescending nature and my delivery. Everyone around me knows my delivery is absolute shit, and I have to apologize for it a lot. Okay, I don't explain anything with any. Oh, okay. So teaching. All right. Okay, I don't explain anything with any foundation. The example that I just gave with central banking theory. Did you hear what I said? How do I prove that in 15 minutes, 20 minutes? I mean, if you don't have the ability to connect dots and to have an intuition about people and the way they think and feel, and the action that
I said you're not using,
based on your life experiences.
You're not providing analysis, not a foundation.
How do I explain that? How do I do that? In COVID-19, comment below, type police, and tell me how to do it. I'll do it. Okay, TE frame. Then you go and you say, well, maybe he's ENTJ. And then you've never met anybody like me with I don't have an INFJ voice. I didn't know that an INFJ had a voice. And how do you know that those INFJs you've met aren't putting an act on? I don't know, maybe. Okay. I'm off-putting. Oh my God, that goes back to condescending in delivery. Absolutely, I am. It's just delivery. It's just the way I go about it. It's just attacking, and it's defense, and it's nurture from defending my childhood. That's what it is. I know what it is, and we'll get to that in a second. All right. So I apologize for the off-putting. I apologize for the condescending. But actually, fuck it. It's my goddamn channel. If you don't like it, don't fucking watch it. I'm serious. Okay. All right. Insists on knowing. I'm in front of a camera. I have to. What am I gonna? I don't know. I could be. I don't know.
Again, Marty,
Don't believe what I said.
I don't watch your channel. I type police you.
Okay, that's typical.
Okay? So it's not like I'm watching you, critiquing you, and telling you humanity, man. It's just you happen to, somebody reported you to the type police, frankly, is what happened. That's actually what happened. Is somebody in the chat said, you've got to type police this guy. I don't think he's an INFJ. And I was like, yeah, right. Well, you see what happens when I type police somebody.
Not the approach of an INFJ. So then you say that's typically not. So it could be. So you're not sure. So typically means it could be. I don't know. Okay. Are you confused? No. Okay. I see the FE trap. No battle. It doesn't seem like an INFJ. So I don't seem like an INFJ. Are you confused? I don't know. Okay. All right. So there's that. And then the FE battle. You mean I'm going to run away from a fight? I'm a runner. I am totally a runner, and I totally don't want to get into fights with people. I mean, okay. All right. I find this really interesting, right? If you watch the video at 11:46, Type Police starts talking about whether I'm going to like him or not. You put your hoodie on at 11:46 for no reason other than this. You put your hoodie on because it was an impulse inside you to hide your identity. Why would you do that? Like, I'm going to come after you. I'm going to get you. Go to 11:46 of the video and you'll see him do it. Okay. You assume I won't like.
Now, that's some pretty weak in eye, right? Maybe it is the case that I put my hoodie on right there, and maybe there's that kind of like eye like shine over there. But if you look over there at all, you'll realize that's not what you think it is, right? Because I made so many Type Police videos, and you are vastly overweighting your significance to me. I don't care if you like me or not. I just made the obvious point that, I said, after I said, well, I don't really find it very likable. Well, hey, I'm sure he doesn't like me either, especially after this video. It's not because I care. Is that what you're thinking? That I care about whether you like me? I don't want to hurt your feelings. Is what my basic problem was before, is that, it's hard for me to make these without hurting people's feelings. Whatever bullshit you're going to try to project on me here, it's nonsense.
Like you. That tells me you've only watched one of my videos. You have no idea what I'm doing. You did the video, streamed the video. You IQ, professional. Criticize me. Did I pace my house 1,000 times? I did. I'll be honest, I did. Did the criticism get to me? Absolutely it did. Because I'm trying to do my best, and I don't deserve to be attacked on whether I'm INFJ or not. But it's a label and blah blah blah. Whatever. Okay. Well.
You are saying, you've already said that you're an INFJ. You've used your experience as an INFJ to prove that you're an INFJ. And now you're saying you're on this channel telling people all about what it means to be an INFJ. And now you're saying it doesn't matter if you're an INFJ. That people shouldn't think it matters if you're actually one. Do you hear yourself? Do you hear the words that come out of your mouth?
Oh, heavily interested. Oh, I'm heavily invested. What am I heavily invested in? What? This setup was for a skincare company I own. Had nothing to do with the videos. I started doing the videos on mental health, and some viewers went into the INFJ and wanted me to talk more on that and bring it together. And what's interesting is in your live stream, you have people asking you about, well, can you give them direction? Get to that in a second, I think. Yeah, there it is right there. Oh, but you say complete nonsense. So what I say is absolutely complete nonsense. Okay, fair enough. Don't watch me. Give me direction. Um, in what? What direction am I going? I don't even understand. TI heavy endeavor. I think what you're saying is that I don't have the capability of doing MBTI and mental health. I think if I'm right, you have not watched any of my videos. None. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, I don't know what you mean by that. Okay. All right. Oh, wait, here it is. Here's why possibility, zero, nothing, INFJ, harmless. Okay, so this is weird. I don't know what I did here. Oh, I'm sorry. I kind of went out of order. Absolute truth.
Okay, so it's true. You're right that I didn't watch enough of your videos to dismiss the accuracy of your content across the board like that. Okay, I concede that, and that's my bad. I regret that. I retract that claim that applies across the board. But what I don't retract is the claim that you don't provide actual examples of analysis. You provide SI, your own experience, and unsubstantiated claims. And so, in that regard, I suspect that most of your conclusions, well, I know that most of your conclusions are not worth listening to, because whether or not they're right is a crapshoot, because they're not valid, right? So, but definitely ENFP because of the lack of TI. At this point, it's pretty obvious this guy's ENFP. I mean, and the other thing is, I don't know at the end of a typing video, of a type police video, for sure what type you are. Obviously, I have to actually fully type you, but I am able to know enough to determine whether you deserve to go to type jail or not. That's a simple question, because all I have to do is say, okay, well, you're definitely not this, and I can determine that with no no doubt, because I am a professional typologist, the leader in the field, the most correct person about this on the internet or anywhere else in the world, frankly, and the only person to be getting it completely right, except for people who've been working with me, you know. So this is here. If you want me to use SI to justify it, I have typed literally hundreds of people professionally. So, I mean, that means I've spent an hour talking to them at least, asking them questions, refining my approach to typing people, checking my strategies against an objective norm to see if my strategies are aligning to what I think they're aligning to. Doing all that kind of objective self-criticism to disallow myself from spreading disinformation. You meanwhile are saying it shouldn't matter if you're spreading disinformation. And that's just ridiculous.
And here's why. Okay, so on possibility, I'm nothing, zero, like an INFJ. Someone actually asked, can I harm anybody? Or am I harmless? I don't even understand that. I am wrong, and you don't like me. Oh, that's what it was. Okay, I'm sorry. I kind of went out of order here. So yeah, we'll just skip it. Okay, because I said enough. All right, good. Okay, so this was actually Sol 11 thinks I'm INTP. So with this comment and type police, you have no idea what I am, but you know 0% chance that I'm not an INFJ.
I don't need to even have a conversation with you to tell you I could narrow it down to at most 3 types. Your ENFP, ESTJ, or ENTJ. I would say 98% chance you're an you're an ENFP. About a 1% chance you're an ENTJ, and about a 1% chance you're an ESTJ. So, yeah, now that I've watched this, I verified while watching this that, okay, yeah, he's doing that textbook ENFP thing where a situation requires him to use a TI justification. He provides an SI justification or no justification. So, no, there's no chance of INFP. No way. This guy's an NE-DOM. This guy's an NE-DOM. So, I mean, the thing is, I don't know if you're going to watch all this, Marty, or not, but I hope you do, because I am telling you the truth. And there's just no getting around it. If you want to judge me on heuristics, I have the fattest typology resume you could possibly have. So, I mean, if you don't want to judge me on actual parsing out of what I'm saying to see if it logically sustains, then you're going to want to rely on my level of expertise and experience to decide whether I'm right or not. And on those grounds, you'll conclude, oh, well, there's no choice but to conclude that I, in fact, am not an INFJ, because it's either completely subjective and arbitrary. In other words, it's like saying whether you're a Dodgers fan or a Braves fan, you can choose all you want and nobody's going to give you any grief about it, really, or have any reasonable objection to it. Nobody's going to win the argument that you can't decide to be a Braves fan, or that you shouldn't decide to be a Braves fan. No one's going to win those arguments. However, it's very easy to win an argument that says you probably shouldn't spread misinformation. And if you are putting out a lot of information about something that's fundamentally an objective question, you shouldn't treat it as though it weren't. I think that's a reasonable positive moral indication. Now, granted, I'm not saying you're wicked. You're not doing anything that violates a negative moral prohibition. So, that's why the harmlessness thing came up. You aren't interpreting anything that we said very well, frankly. Anything that I said, or anything that's come up about this, you're misinterpreting almost everything. In fact, surprisingly, it's like you're fixated on things that don't mean anything close to what you think they mean. Like, my hood? What? No, dude. I'm pretty sure I had my hood up at other points in that video, too. I mean, you could watch the original one. That's really harsh. Oh, you can't. I unlisted it because I thought it was too harsh. I have this. We made it during a live stream, so I knew I was going to edit it, so I just let myself roll on it a bit. And I thought it was too mean. So I edited out as much of the meanness as I could. And so, yeah, I mean, obviously my video was edited to be popular with viewers, not to be expansive in my case making about you. Your videos are made to be expansive in the case making. This video is made to be expansive in the case making. But Type Police video, that one wasn't. It was designed to entertain an audience, be a good video, and get a lot of views, hopefully.
Let's read some before I come back to that. Okay. So let's see here. What were some good ones? Future behaviorists who want to broad. You know what? This is kind of stupid. He's back. Yeah, there were a few of them. Who was it that was actually a good one? Ivana, there we go. Damn, if he sees this, I think he's going to take it personal. I don't know if you knew this, but he suffered from some kind of childhood trauma, and he comes off a bit unstable. Sometimes nothing personal, just my observation. Maybe this makes him harder to type, but I agree that he's definitely not an INFJ. Ivana, you did another comment, I think, didn't you? Where is it? Here it is. Oh, no, that was just your back. Okay. All right. Yeah, okay. There are actually, well, let me come back to this again. Okay. I'm not going to read this because it's just going to blow the video just past its time. So, all right. You have no idea what I am. Then if you're criticizing me for point of view
I'm not a
with a foundation.
I'm a typologist. I don't need to know what you do.
If you don't know what I am, what is your foundation that there's a 0% chance that I'm not, or 0% chance that I am an INFJ? Don't ever forget, and I'm going to get to this in other videos, don't ever forget this. Remember, the point of my channel was to combine mental health, MBTI, and other things that can help us show true empathy and know our inner self to be happy. How do I feel about academics?
Okay, listen. Look, listen, Mr. Moisture. I did an episode of Type Please on you because you say you're an INFJ, but you're not. I don't give a fuck what the purpose of your channel is. I don't care. I'm not critiquing. I'm not saying you have a bad purpose. If I were saying you had a bad purpose, then pointing out that you have a good purpose would be relevant. But I'm not making that critique. So your response there is irrelevant. Of course. Why didn't you realize that before saying it? Because you're TI polar. That's symptomatic of that kind of thinking. It's not that there's anything wrong with you. It's that your strengths lie in other areas. Your strengths lie in attaining outcomes, attaining goals. I'm sure you're quite good at it. I'm terrible at it. My skill set lies in thinking well. You're terrible at it. Like impossibly terrible at it. Like shockingly, mind-blowingly terrible at it.
And labels. If you know my channel, you know I can't stand them. And I find it interesting that the type police is trying to label me without any consideration for anything else off of one video, maybe two, maybe three. I find that incredible. And yet he doesn't know what I am, but yet knows that there's a 0% chance that I'm an INFJ. Yet in his video uses words that contradict. And while accusing me with having zero foundation from my point of view, you are attacking me. Let's not call it, because you didn't. You used IQ and you did use professionalism. You're not attacking me, trying to call me out. But what's interesting is you're calling me out on something I don't give a shit about. I seriously don't. Now, do I? Well, of course I do, but so there's something
Okay,
right.
I'm sorry. Did I miss something here? Is it not the case that the majority of this guy's channel is filled with INFJ videos about what stuff he's learned about INFJs from his experience as an INFJ? Let me see. INFJ.
Hi, Marty.
1, 2, 3,
channel. Right. So this is
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. On the first playlist on the front page, there's 12 INFJ videos. There's also mental health stuff. I'm not critiquing your mental health videos at all. I have no idea whether you're wise or unwise about mental health stuff. Although, actually, I do now. I heard your ridiculous comment about narcissism to start off the thing, and I was just like, wait, did you just say narcissism's actually a good thing? Like, words don't matter at all to you, do they? Like, that's clearly no correct definition of the term narcissism can be used to support that statement. And you're saying, well, I'm just redefining it how I want. Well, okay, well, that's what's wrong with your involvement in typology. Maybe not in the other shit, I don't know, I don't care. Whatever. That was type police, see? I'm critiquing your typology knowledge. Now, it's true, when I did that I didn't make note of those aspects of your channel that weren't related to typology. And perhaps I should have said, he also has non-typology videos, and I'm not commenting on those. But it's type police. I stick with what's relevant. Boy, this guy.
I'm not an INFJ.
I need a real
I'm
piece
an
of
imposter.
work.
I lie. I suffer from childhood abuse.
I don't think you.
I'm extremely unhealthy. I have a lot of internal emotional problems. I might need to be on medication. I used INFJ to increase my subscriber base, even though my channel is not monetized. I spend 50 to 70 hours a week answering comments, planning and thinking about these videos and what I'm going to do. And all I want to do is mislead and lie all of my viewers by telling them with a condescending tone that I am right and that I am the rarest personality type and that I am an INFJ.
No, Marty, no. I don't think you're lying. I totally don't think you are lying, okay? There's no way this guy is lying. He believes he's an INFJ. And he's going to be stubborn about it because he has a tool function of FI as ENFPs do. But I do not think you are willfully, intentionally misleading people. I'm saying you're subject to critique because you are, whether you're doing it willfully or intentionally or not, you are misleading people. You are spreading disinformation about typology, at least. I get that the INFJ videos probably get more views and increase your subscriber base, and I understand why you're motivated to do that. But, sir, you are not an INFJ, and therefore, since I was making a type police video, and somebody said, "Hey, type police this guy," I made a video explaining how you're not an INFJ, and since you're pontificating about the type based on your own experiences, are clearly not qualified to talk about it. I gotta finish this thing. I told somebody I was gonna finish the whole video. I only got 8 minutes left, and it's at 1.5 time.
I am a malignant narcissist, probably, more than likely, foundationally entering into sociopath, and I have extreme mental disorders. And you should not watch me. I will provide nothing of substance for you. I will provide nothing of guidance. I think life coaches should be abolished and illegal. I do not ever want to be a life coach. That is not my purpose. My goal, as I say all that I am and admit all that I have in the last 90 seconds, is that I'm out to deceive and lie. Now, there is one thing, type police, that remember nurture, because we all have a foundation: extrovert, introvert, self as object, self as subject. That's a pretty song you got there, sweetheart. It really, really excited me. What do you need, sweetie? Tell me, sweetheart. You want me to suck your dick? What do you need? I'll give it to you, no problem. Baby, what do you need? Just tell me. You have no idea who the fuck you're talking to. I wrestled with malignant narcissism, sociopathic thoughts and behaviors from my childhood that you can't even fucking imagine. You don't know how to type me because you forgot about one characteristic of the INFJ, and depending on how really, really evolved it is, it can be your worst fucking nightmare.
I believe you could be my worst nightmare, Marty.
That's how you spell that?
But you're still not an INFJ.
The chameleon.
No, you're not a chameleon.
I will rob your
You're the same way you always are.
steal everything you have, manipulate you into absolute submission.
You can't manipulate me for shit. You can't convince me that you are an INFJ
I will
even.
toss you in a trash can.
You're going to toss me in a trash can.
That is the chameleon. That is the INFJ way, on the back of an abused, traumatized little boy. I spent 40 years studying, reaching depths you can't even imagine inside me. So as I drain every last drop out of you while you sing your funny song, you forgot about the chameleon in the INFJ. I'll be anything you want, baby. Just tell me what you need. Anything you want. Now, I really appreciate type police. You did it with IQ. You did it really, really well. A couple of times there was a little bit, but you did a good job. Thank you. And I hope that when I post this video, that your channel's monetized. So I hope it benefits your channel and your viewers. Thank you very much for the video, type police. I think you did it well. Crossed a few lines, but not enough. But do me a favor. When you finally decide which one I am, do another video for me and tell me. I really appreciate it. Because in my bio on my YouTube channel, I love constructive criticism, as long as it's done with IQ and a professional approach. That's all I care about. There's no reason to hate, because I always ask the question, why would you hate? There's no reason. That's not what my channel's about.
Okay, fuck off, motherfucker. I'm not hating you.
Thanks for watching this morning, and we'll see you in the next video. Did you enjoy that? All right. So what I'd like to say in absolute closing, right? I say this for last. I turn the camera back off and thought about what I wanted to say. All right. The most difficult part of my channel, and something that is going to be very difficult for most people to see, and I know it, and it's why I do my channel the way that I do, is because my level of honesty and transparency is unheard of. It's rare. It just doesn't happen. And I don't know. It's not that I don't care. I don't like in your face. I don't give a shit. What it is I've just seen too many things. I've just experienced too many things, and I guess in a way I just don't want to go out like that. I just don't lie to myself and try to be something I'm not, and going about things in just a way that is selfish and just whatever. So if The ENFP is the one that teaches, and the ENFP is the one that guides other people. Oh my God, I'm an ENFP. I love it. I mean, I don't even, and I don't, INTP, I don't have the time to study the in-depth. I'm hours into all of this, weeks. So I don't have the time to study it. I am. But I have my own thoughts. I don't want to go down the path of the MBTI. I'm a purist in MBTI. I'm a purist in Jung. I have my own feeling, and I'm not going to divert from them. I'm just not going to do it. And I don't care who I offend. I don't care who watches me. I'm going to do me. But I find it amazing that you don't know what I am.
Yeah, sunk cost fallacy is right.
Look at the letters. Look what you're picking. Is it possible that the more childhood trauma and the more we look inside ourselves, the more we might realize that we're all 16? And those who want to be labeled because it's rare, and those that get mad because they can't fake it, condemn those that say that they are the rarest? Is that what this is about? I don't know. See you in the next video. Oh, I am the most caring and friendliest person you have ever met. More on that later. Okay. See you in the next video.
Wow. Look, dude. I'm well past that particular kind of pissing contest. I'm not intimidatable. I don't give a fuck about your threats. You can shove them up your ass. I walk across. I'm not even going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. So, yeah. Obviously, you never, just be very clear about this. Never in a trillion lifetimes would you ever be able to intimidate or manipulate me. That's just how it is. Okay, let's see. Let me just wrap this up and I'm going to end this video and upload it. So, look, I understand you've experienced trauma. And I do want to address the how trauma links to type thing. My last girlfriend was traumatized as a child as well. Perhaps not as bad as you, but pretty bad. And she was still a textbook ISFJ. Did she engage in a lot of toxic behavior towards me? Yeah. Was it a bit of a wake-up call? Yeah, I had not really been exposed to that sort of behavior before. But I will tell you this, it didn't change how she expressed her cognitive functions at all. So, if you're serious about wanting to know, well, the answer is you're an ENFP. And I would point out that perhaps a better way to approach this, which would have, in fact, if you had approached it like this, you would have sort of stolen all the offense. If you would have said, hey, look, good to learn this. I guess I'm not an INFJ. I have been making these INFJ videos. They've been helping my channel. I admit I haven't really studied much about it. Why don't you do a typing with me? We'll collaborate. If you'd approach it like that, I mean, you end up smelling like roses, enjoying the benefits of learning something. Your thoughts on COVID are insane. I'm not going to make it any less. I'm not going to mince words on that. You're assuming a world in which the various wells of political power are comprised of individuals in agreement with each other that those wells are fairly static, and that differing wells in different considerations don't conflict, and a lot of other things that would be required for that sort of mechanized implementation of what has happened. Just not possible. I agree that COVID's nonsense, like the lockdown's nonsense, the quarantine was nonsense. The way the data was presented to the people in general by various individuals in the media was ridiculous. There seemed to be a broad agreement among a certain swath of left-leaning, mostly media personalities, that they were going to get ahead of this and stop that fake news kind of thing and make sure that everyone took it seriously because it was so serious. It just turned out it wasn't. Now, you'd note, if you were interested at all, that well before any of the lockdown or quarantine stuff happened, I expressed exactly, or as it was beginning to happen, exactly why the quarantine wouldn't work, why the fatality rate was exaggerated by at least 10 times, and that was exactly the stat I used. And it was months later it came out, it was exaggerated 10 to 26 times. So it's like I did anticipate all this stuff. So I anticipated how this would play out, okay? So there's good reason to think that when I think about these sort of things, I'm thinking about them properly. And I can tell you that your conspiracy explanation of COVID policies and COVID in general, it just doesn't hold any water at all. Listen, I'm an expert in public policy. I've been working with it and studying. I'm a professional debate coach, and I've been doing this for decades. And I was a policy debater in high school. So you're gonna have to, if you want to be right, and it doesn't sound to me like you do. You want to keep sticking to your guns, what you believe in, and not have to be challenged on it. But if you do want to be right, I do have, I'll make you, sure, I'll link to some video I made in March about COVID. You might find it highly informative, and you probably agree with it, because it doesn't address very much your particular wrong frame of reference and dispute it. It talks more about what we ought to do given the reality of this virus. And the virus, of course, is an actual thing. It's not make-believe. It's not a hoax. There is a virus. It's just not nearly as bad as it was projected to be, and they try to sell it as, right? All right, so I'll put a link to one of those. So that's that. I'm sorry that you were. I mean, how the hell am I supposed to know that you're that, triggery? How am I supposed to know that? It's like you're making public videos. You're opening yourself to critique. When I make a video, I expect and welcome that shit that you just put up there. Of course I'm going to get that. I usually don't watch it because I don't like watching things that make me mad. But I'm glad that whoever in here said, no, you have to do it, don't be a pussy. I'm glad whoever said that, I think it might have been email on fax, said that. Thank you very much, because I think this is going to be a good video. I don't know. Thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese.